Good afternoon. Today I am going to start in history from page number 70. The sense of collective belonging. Nationalism spread when people began to believe that they are all the part of the same nation when they discover some unity that binds them together. Now nationalisms were spreading throughout the whole country, but how did the nation become a reality in the minds of a people? How did people belonging to different communities, regions, or language group develop a sense of collective belonging? Now, in this nationalism, people's they were belonging in different communities. Their religion was different, their language was different, and the question was asking that how they will bring the unity in a society. This sense of collective belonging came partly through the experience of united struggles, but there were also a variety of cultural processes through which nationalism captured people's imagination. History and fiction, folklore and songs, popular prints and symbols all played a part in the making of nationalism. Now, nationalism, how it framed, all the folklore was there, the songs all together came, popular prints were there, symbols were there, and they played a great role in making the nationalism. The identity of the nation, as you know, is most often symbolized in a figure or image. This helps to create an image with this which people can identify the nation. So everything it was coming into unity. It was in the 20th century with the growth of nationalism that the identity of the India came to be visually associated with the image of Bharat Mata. Then here it was noted that nationalism, how it will come with the unity of the Bharat Mata. Now the beginning of the Bharat Mata. The image was first this image of Bharat Mata. You can see figure number 12. Bharat Mata image was given by Abindranath Tagore in 1905. The image was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. This image of Bharat Mata was created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1870s. He wrote Vande Mataram as a hymn to the motherland. Vande Mataram was written by him, and it was the motherland. Later, it was included in his novel Anand Mat. Later, he included this Bharat Mata in a novel called Anand Mat, and widely sung during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal. So it started from Bengal. Moved by the Swadeshi movement, Abhinendranath Tagore printed his famous image of Bharat Mata. It is given on page number 71, figure number 12. In this printing, Bharat Mata is portrayed as an ascetic figure. She is calm. This is all about the image of Bharat Mata. She is calm, composed, divine and spiritual. In subsequent years, the image of Bharat Mata acquired any different forms as it circulated in popular prints and was painted by different artists. This Bharat Mata was painted by different artists. Devotion to this mother figure came to be seen as evidence of the once nationalism. This Bharat Mata had brought a nationalism in our country. Ideas of nationalism also developed through a movement to revive Indian folklore. In late 19th century, Indian nationalists began recording folk tales sung by bards, and they toured villages to gather folk songs and the legends. These tales, they believed, gave a true picture of traditional culture and had been corrupted and damaged by the outside forces. It was essential to preserve this folk tradition in order to discover one's national identity and restore a sense of pride in one's past. In Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore himself began collecting ballads, nursery rhymes and myths, and led the movement for folk revival revival. In Madras, Natesha Shastri published a massive 4-volume collection of Tamil folklores. Now, by belonging to Bharat Mata, different publishers came. The folklore of southern India came. He believed that folklore was national literature. It was the most trustworthy manifestation the people's real thoughts and characteristics. As the national movement developed, nationalist leaders became more and more aware of such icons and symbols. So nationalist leaders, they performed different icons and symbols to unify the people and inspiring in them a feeling of nationalism. During the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolor flag was there, red, green and yellow was designed. So in that time, the Swadeshi movement when started in Bengal, there was a tricolor and it composed of red, green and yellow was designed. It had lotuses. It has 8 lotuses representing 8 provinces of the British India and a crescent moon representing Hindus and Muslims. All 1921, Gandhiji had designed the Swaraj flag. Now Gandhiji, by all this, in this movement, the Gandhiji started designing Swaraj flag. It was again a tricolor, red, green and white. Now again this color was different, red, green and white, and had a spinning wheel in the center representing the Gandhian ideal of self-help. Carrying the flag, holding it aloft during marches became a symbol of defense. So like this way the symbols came to bring the Swaraj in this tricolor. Another means of creating a feeling of nationalism was through reinterpretation of the history. By the end of 19th century, many Indians began feeling that to install a sense of pride in the nation, Indian history had to thought about differently. The British saw Indians as a backward and primitive. Now Britishers were not in favor of the Indians, so they saw that Indians as a backward and primitive, incapable of governing themselves. So they were not liking the Indians. In response, Indians began looking into the past to discover India's great achievements. Indians were ready to bring the unity. They wrote about the glorious developments in ancient times when art and architecture, science and mathematics, religion and culture, law and philosophy, crafts and trade had flourished. So in this time, the Britishers' time, it was all flourishing. These glorious time, in their view, was followed by a history of decline when India was colonized. These nationalist histories urged the readers to take a pride in India's great achievement in the past of the struggle to change the miserable condition of life under the British rule. These efforts now to unify people were not without the problems. When the past being glorified was Hindu, when the images celebrated were drawn from the Hindu iconography, the people of other communities felt left out. So there was a lot of conflict in between the Hindus and the Muslim. Now conclusion. A growing anger against the colonial government was thus bringing together various groups and classes of the Indians into a common struggle for freedom in the first half of the 20th century. Now there was a lot of committees were there, societies were there. So it was seen in the colonial government people had tried to bring the unity. The Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi tried to channel people's grievances into organized movements for independence. Through such movements, the nationalists tried to forge a national unity. Now some of the nationalists, they tried to bring the national unity. But as we have seen diverse groups and classes participated in these movements with varied aspirations and the expectation. As their grievances were wide-ranging, freedom from colonial rule also meant different things to different people. So in this colonial people's thinking was also different. The Congress continuously attempted to resolve differences and ensure that the demands of one group did not alienate another. This is precisely why the unity within the movement often broke down. The high points of the Congress activity and the nationalist unity were followed by phases of disunity and inner conflict between the groups. So there was a lot of confusion in between the Congress and the nationalist unity. In other words, what was emerging was nation with many voices wanting freedom from colonial rule. So many people in the different communities, people how they tried to bring the unity during the colonial period.